Good morning, it's Monday. Oi, oi, oi. Anyhow, the Giants won a game they shouldn't have, which is usually how they win. The Chiefs got lucky again. I don't know whether I see them three-peating or not because they keep just barely pulling these games out on luck. It's like the referees are on their side, all the karma's on their side. Karma has a tendency to leave, though, you know? So I don't know how that's going to play out. What's going on in the real world? Okay, the SEC wants to sanction Musk. The world wants to sanction Musk. He's a moron. He's not, I'm really not sure how he came into all his wealth. Whether it was inherited or the whole deal. I don't know that much about him, so I shouldn't say things like, he's a fucking idiot. He's got like 15 kids, and he says, well, everybody should have a lot of kids. You got 15 different women pregnant, dude. These kids got no real father. These kids got no life unless you give it to them. And I know they're not in the will. Oh, wow. That should be fun. Glad I'm not a lawyer. What else about Elon? Oh, did you know he was born into apartheid? Apartheid is that where the minority white government controlled South Africa. That's what they called it, apartheid. Oof, man. Some people call it slavery or something. I don't know. Anyhow, moving along. Let's see. Harris is skipping the Al Smith dinner. I don't know anything about the Al Smith dinner except that it's a traditional thing. I don't know why she would skip it. I'm sure there was an explanation, but I didn't feel like reading it. It's Monday, man. Give me a break. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know whether that's important or not. I'm not so sure that moving away from traditional events is the best way to go for her, but we will have to wait and see, okay? We will wait and see. What else happened? Okay, I don't know how old you guys are and everything out there. But, the Miami Dolphins had the only undefeated team in history of pro football. And one of the stars of that team was a guy named Mercury Morris. And he just passed away over the weekend. He's 77 years old. To tell you the truth, I didn't think he was that old. Seems like only yesterday, But it's a long time ago, man. And nobody's ever come close to... Well, a couple teams came close to him. Patriots came close to him. But that's about it. The undefeated team I'm talking about. Anyhow, I don't think it'll ever happen again. It's just... it's just too difficult a thing. It's too long a season. Everything's too long. Now, some people are moving on, as I say, some people are talking about an age cap for the presidency. Yeah, I'll go along with that, but there should be age limits on all elected officials. I mean, it's just, you can't go out there and do that at 80 years old, and a good portion of you don't give the opportunity for new blood to come in. And I'm not talking about a Marjorie Taylor Greene or an AOC or somebody like that. I'm talking about a legitimate person, not when I say a legitimate person, I mean a person that isn't radicalized. And we're not giving them the opportunity, the youth of America, an opportunity to try and govern. And I think that's what keeps them from voting, and amongst other things, I know most of the people I know wake up in the morning, and say, I got to go vote. Well, Dad, what are you going to vote for? Well, I'm going to vote Republican, man. They don't ask why. They don't care why. They vote Republican. And I think that's a lot of Americans do that. it's like, for me, it's like religion. I don't like religion. Okay, my mother was a Catholic. My father was God knows what. I think he was Protestant, because he was from the South. Protestant or Baptist down south. Anyhow, I'm not religious. I don't believe in religion. I believe in God, not religion, yada, yada, yada. The thing about politics is that I voted Democrat for a long time for a reason. In order, they tell you it's a secret ballot. That's the biggest crock of shit the world's ever seen. Those machines are not secret. Anyhow, that's why you take, when you go to vote, you take a piece of paper with your name on it, and they hang it on a hook outside the voting booth. That's in the exact same order you vote. Then when they look at the tapes later on, seeing the votes, they can tell you how you voted. Okay? So, secret ballot my ass. But anyhow, in order for my mom to keep her job, she had to be supportive of the Democrats and whatnot. I mean, this was after my father died and everything. And she, back then you couldn't get credit cards, you couldn't sign a lease, you couldn't do anything. So she had to use a lot of political favors. So that's what she did. And she agrees with me that, it's not all Democrats are good. Politics, she finally realized what I said all along, is that politicians suck. So, but that's it. That's she did what she had to do. So I have nothing against her whatsoever as far as politics goes. Everybody's worried about the undecided vote. Well, the undecided vote is going to... I don't know how you can be undecided in this, unless you're flipping a coin. I mean, the undecided people that I know, I think, are Republicans that aren't sure that they can morally or ethically vote for Donald Trump. I think those are the ones that are undecided. I think everybody else has pretty much made up their mind. I mean, the undecided are people that might have voted for Trump in the past, but aren't sure that they can do it this time because he's proven himself to be unfit for government. So we go there. And I said that we should have an age limit on presidential and congressional. Well, yeah, I guess Congress too. I think or some sort of qualification once you get past 60, 65, something like that. Every year the people live a little longer. You should be able to readjust it. But at the present time, I think we've got some pretty unhealthy those people. If they were normal people out in the street, they'd be dead from whatever it is that's eating them up on the inside. Okay, dokie. What else is going on? Oh, Donald Trump says that if he's elected, or when he's elected, depending on what day of the week he's talking, he says that women won't think about abortion anymore. Now that's kind of a scary thing. He doesn't qualify that by saying, everything will be so good in the country, women won't worry about not having children or something. No, women are always going to worry about abortion. Abortion was to stop an unwanted child from being born. But the biggest reason to have abortions was unsound fetuses or something. What's the term? Medically hampered fetuses and whatnot, where you have a inherited disease, and it's a very difficult disease to handle, as it requires constant treatment and everything, very expensive. And you have a poor woman that that's genetically presupposed to this that gets pregnant and doesn't want to have the child. You know, after consultation with everybody, they understand, you know, we really don't want to have this child. I think that's okay. I think that victims of rape should be able to get rid of the child. You know, get rid of the child. Gee, that sounds so cruel. To abort the child, the pregnancy. I think unwanted children. If you don't want to put the child up for adoption, or you don't want to give it, you know, basically give the child away, which I don't understand why you wouldn't want to if this is just an accident that happened, you know, with a lover or something like that, or you just don't want this man to have it, you know, there's some legitimate reasons out there. I don't want to get into them because some of them people don't consider legitimate, and that gets really argumentative. This is one of those things you don't talk about in bars, you know. You don't talk about politics, you don't talk about abortion, something like that, because you don't talk about something that doesn't have an empirical answer, that's strictly an opinion. Now, whether or not that person's eligible to I don't know if whether an abortion's physically possible or something like that's a different thing. That's if you've been raped, you know, you don't want that child. Some women do, some women don't. You know, because they want a child and they're not getting married, you know, in the near future. And then, you know, according to Vance, there's not a lot of guys out there like me that didn't want kids. I didn't want kids because I didn't think I could be a good father. I didn't want the responsibility. I was afraid of it. That's the honest answer. So, you know, I was careful. And I believe that having to get, and I was accused a couple of times. And in theory, I paid for an abortion one time. I don't know whether that's true or if I just got ripped off, you know, whatever. It was worth it to get this. That would have been that woman was a huge, huge mistake for me, you know. And that's the thing you have to worry about, you know. Two people together. You know, my dad was an alcoholic. He beat my mom. He and my brother, he was been his stepson, got in a lot of fights and whatnot. His son was too much like him. You know, my stepbrother. The one he fought was with my half brother, and my stepbrother was too much like my dad. You know, he had a bad temper. He was. I am too. I have a bad temper, but I seem to. You know, I try to hold it in a lot. Do better. You know, do good. You know, I'm out here talking bullshit about other people, and you know, I don't know whether I'm qualified to do it or not, but I'm doing it. You know. Hey! Woo! Wow! But I do care about people. I care, you know, animals, and I care about animals more than I do people, really. An animal never broke my heart except when they passed away. An animal never hurt me, you know, on purpose. I love the predatory animals. I love black panthers. I like hawks and eagles. You know, owls. I think owls are truly cool. Man. You know, that stare and then they turn their head around backward. That's really cool. So I like birds, dogs, cats, squirrels, chipmunks. I guess I could get to like a skunk if it was these skunks, you know. Some animals make me nervous, you know, but I don't want to see them dead. I don't want to hurt them. You know, unless they're coming after me. You know, I've had wild animals try to come after me. I've run into two black bears in the woods. You know, one of them we sort of just looked at one time. The two of us just sort of looked at each other, and I went my way and he went his way. And the second time, this guy stood up on his hind legs and was about 10 feet tall, something like that. He was huge guy. And I did what you're not supposed to do. I had a bunch of fishing gear in my hands and I shook it and I yelled at him, go away, and he ran away like a scared little boy. And I saw him a couple times after that, but he never came close to me again. It's just where I was. You know, I ran into bears. I ran into all kinds of animals. I ran into a couple of lynxes, which weren't supposed to be down where I lived, you know, but they were there. Ran into a lot of deer, made friends with a lot of deer. I guess if you're basically a good person, animals love you, and that was me. But I'm digressing from this situation that I'm talking about with the abortion. You know, I don't profess to know what's right or wrong in that field, but I think that the people that are involved, either the mother and the father, should have a little bit of something to say about what goes on. If they're not if they feel that they're, you know, if they're married and they feel that there's no way that this is going to interfere with their marriage, or I don't think that's right. I think, you know, there's a lot of issues involved in that. I don't think it's a straight yes, let's do it, no, don't do it. You know, I don't think you can have a law that says that. You know, I just think there's too many outside kind of influences and whatnot that are there that need to be addressed. You know, I think the mother should have the most say because she's the one that's going to go through the whole 9-month thing. The husband, you know, just goes out and sticks his dick in someplace else, but or the man rather, husband, man, boyfriend, whatever it is. So I honestly don't think that we as well, if you know me, you know I don't like to be told what to do. So you know I'm totally against the government getting involved in this thing. You know, I don't know what's going to happen, if that's going to be a huge election issue. If it is, well, you got to vote for the person that, you know, you have to vote for abortion rights because that's the right of the mother to take care of the fetus. Now, you get religion says, well, the moment of conception is when the baby's alive and it's got a soul and everything like that. Well, there are also religions out there that says you shouldn't do anything the doctor tells you to do. Religion should stay out of science because they're too mythical. They don't understand. They don't get along. All right, listen. That's it for me today. Monday shot. Well, not yet, but anyhow, I'll be back tomorrow.